Hello and welcome to the Purplearmy podcast in association with Goldstone Wealth Management. It's Monday the 29th of August 2016. I am Ross McGregor and joining me this week, Stephen McClernand, Graham Thompson and Jennifer Shaw. In this week's show we will catch up with last year's clan netminder and co-host, Chris Holt. First though, we had a chat about the games against Belfast and the loss of the Intu Cup. We just wanted to start this week's show with an explanation on something people have been asking us about in recent weeks. The club have decided not to allow us access to players for interviews at this time, and whilst we're obviously disappointed this late change, we hope this situation can be reviewed again in the near future. But anyway, on with the show. I'm joined this week again by Graham Thompson. How are you, Graham?
I'm fine, thanks, Ross.
Stephen, how are you?
I'm delighted to be here, Ross, as always.
And Jennifer, how are you, Jennifer?
Yeah, I'm good. Buzzing that hockey's back, so yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, it was kind of strange getting back to arena last night. Before we jump on to last night, though, I mean, we'll talk about the Belfast games. It's the two games that we've been waiting for. Belfast and Saturday night. Watched it on the webcast. Clan came out winners in that game 4-2. Again, you don't take much from that, do you, Graham? I mean, it's a friendly game. It's not the Belfast were missing a few players. I think they only had 4D. We were missing a few players. Oh, congratulations to Jill Fulmer and his wife, by the way, and birth of their baby. I'm sure everybody would echo that. But Graham, we don't read much into the scorelines, do we?
No, if there's not a cup to play for, no. But it's a pre-season. It's a chance for Finnar to play about with some lines, which in itself is difficult if there's players missing, obviously. But just see what works. But yeah, you can't take these things too seriously. But yeah, Belfast, you've still got a rivalry with Belfast. If it wasn't for the system, I reckon, we would have a real rivalry with Belfast. But as it was a pretty good game. There was some hits going in, and I enjoyed watching it. And hopefully the main thing is that Finnar had plenty to learn from and can use going forward.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen, I know ran through the score. Rosehill on the first period got a power play goal, which was the first Clan goal, which was in reply to a Saviano opener. Demery added to that, making it 2-1. Pitt replied in the second period to make it 2 each. And then Carlson and Rosehill added goals in the third. Rosehill's been an empty netter. Did Rosehill surprise you with the fact that he seemed to take his goals quite well? I remember tweeting at the time, just tweeting Goon, he isn't supposed to be scoring goals,
I saw a lot of Rosehill when he played for the Maple Leafs a few years ago, and he was in a different role in obviously a higher standard of league than the IHL. And I think he came here knowing that this would be his chance to show us the other side of his game, and he's not just here to be a glorified fighter and just get into punch-ups. So he had a few wee moments last night where you think things were going to head south quickly. But no, he took the goals well, and his first goal especially, that's what we were crying out for last year, just a big body in front of the crease, causing mayhem and just getting a stick to a puck that was heading towards the net and deflecting it on goal. And yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of it this season.
Yeah, I don't think any is going to disagree. They're happy with the way things went for Jay Rosehill in his first showing on Saturday night. Jennifer, I mean, what players? I mean, we're not going to talk dissect the game. It's a friendly game, but what were your takes? What kind of players were shining out for you?
To be fair, with me personally, for the first couple of games, it's just matching faces to names and numbers. So
yeah, it's difficult, isn't
it? when you're still kind of learning them. One player who I really did notice was Jordan Buesa, but he was so good, and it's still really difficult to think that he's only 16. And the only way you would actually realise, he's 16, is the fact he's wearing a cage. He did not look out of place, and I thought he did really, really, really well.
I actually put that in the forum this morning, that he didn't look out of place. Is that because it's a friendly, though? I mean, do you think it would be any different, Graham, if it was a proper competitive game? Because 16 and he's not looking out of place. That's pretty amazing.
Did well, but I think with the intensity ramped up just that bit more, it's probably not. It's not the best environment for him to be playing in at this stage until he's fully up to speed. I mean, the kids get talent. There's no doubt about it, and that's why he's in the squad. And as I say, that's why I was encouraged that Finner was giving him some early ice time. When the season starts, I think we can probably guess what kind of level of involvement he's going to have going in. But if the kid does it, then Finner will play him, and deservedly so. So I think, in full on league and cup intensity, time will tell. But it's a great start for him, and he's got everybody talking about him, which is probably what he wants, I'm sure, at this stage. So so far so good.
Belfast came out really, really violent, and it was the same in both nights, Stephen. For me, the Clan looked kind of a bit jaded and slow. I don't know if that's the ferry trip and the ferry legs, and certainly last night you would expect them to be tired, probably not getting into the back of 4 or 5 in the morning. I know Belfast could say, we came over on the ferry, but they probably get a night in their own beds. So you would expect them to maybe come out firing. It's a thing with the fixtures we've kind of always got to have a problem with when we're playing Belfast, isn't it?
I mean, I think Belfast would have been fired up by the way they lost the other night as well, considering they had most of the possession and most of the shots on goal, and we just snuck out a win. So I think they were looking to put things right, especially after getting absolutely hammered by the Fishtown Penguins the other week as well. They just, as Walser said in his post-match interview, they had to get a win just to try and build some momentum going into the actual games of the season. So it's games you can't really look too much into, and I think Belfast are looking pretty good just now.
Jennifer, one of the most important players that's going to be this season, and I'm only going to call him Mickey Z just now because I still can't get my head around his name. Goaltender, how do you think he's performed over the weekend? Do you think he's given you cause to be optimistic?
There was a couple of moments he looked a little bit unsettled, but I think by the end of the game he was looking better. But the one thing that is, well, obviously just from spending a year looking at Holt in the goal, he does look quite small, but he certainly is very, very, very agile. There were a couple of soft goals. I think there was one particular one where he saved the initial one, but the guy was able to sweep in the rebound. So I kind of felt really sorry for that, just because there was no D round about to clear the puck. So that was a shame. But no, it was looking quite good last night.
It's early doors for me, but I noticed a couple of times, especially early on in the game in Belfast, the D were all over the place, to be honest with you. And obviously we are playing short, and last night as well we had an injury, so we were down to 4 at one point. I don't know, I just kind of, I think he's the type of goaltender, Graham, that's going to need his D to be playing well, but he looked a good shot stopper, didn't he?
He does. He looks a great shot stopper, I would suggest. And as Jen said, he looks small in the goal, but he certainly gets speed. He's got good movement. We know that there were certainly good reports on him coming out from the training camp. So I'm not concerned about the goaltender at this stage. I think we've seen some or been given some idea of what he's capable of. But like you said, I think the D left him very, very exposed, and the D's really been kind of my, albeit 2 pre-season games, the D's been my kind of concern with what I've seen over the last couple of days. 1 or 2 players not quite coming up to the standard that we'd hope, although, as I say, it is only pre-season right now. But, once the D's sorted out and, we fill the spaces that are there, then I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was talking about in relation to the goaltender, Mickey Z. I don't know what I'm going to call him. How do you call it? Tchaikovsky?
Tchaikovsky with a Z at the end.
I'm calling him
by March.
I'm calling him on Twitter the Zaj Mahal.
Right? Noticed. I was ignoring that.
Well, this is the thing. I was doing it as a social experiment, and nobody's pulled me up on it yet. So I'm going to keep using
it for it now.
I'm going to keep using it until somebody says don't.
Right, don't use it anymore.
Don't use it.
The problem with that though is no pronounced Zaj, it's Zai, so it doesn't even work.
Yeah.
Now you're just splitting hairs, Stephen. Come on.
At least we've ended something good today.
We keep going just to spite you now.
We're still waiting on Lee Baldwin coming in, who I think is going to be our big stay-at-home D-man. So missing a big presence like that was going to have an effect on the defence, especially when Kyle Wharton went off injured last night. We were down to 4. And Hendricks looked tired, which, expected after the way things have been going. You're playing 4D, it's obvious you're going to tire out. But I think we can't really give a good judgment of the team until we're a couple of weeks in. We see how everyone settles in and gets going.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is training, this is pre-season. It's just one of these things, we're reading. I'm not going to read too much into it. Although I have to say that I agree with Graham and agree with yourself. Over the course of the weekend, the D didn't look that as if they've got it together yet, but there's plenty of time. And you're right, we're missing Wharton for a period. We're still waiting on Baldwin coming in. Nothing's worrying. We're just maybe looking at the big picture at the moment. And overall, I've got no issues. The see the thing with Hendricks, you talk about Hendricks, people were going on about him on Twitter and stuff being slow, he looked like Jackman. I completely disagree with that. I think he's got, the way he skates, it does look slow. I think he's got really good positional sense. The only thing that worries me is, he can be turned. I think there was a couple of times Belfast turned the corner on him down the wing. That's what he's got to be aware of, because he's not the fastest, but I think he's got good positional sense. He's certainly a bigger physical presence than Jackman ever was, and that's the strength you've got with Hendricks. If you play to that strength and you're aware that you need to compensate for the other things, then I think he'll be absolutely fine. So I'm not at all worried about Hendricks in that sense.
You know who else that wasn't fast? Nathan McKeever. He wasn't the fastest.
No, he wasn't the fastest either. So you're right.
It's not. But you don't want a bunch of speedy D-men, because you need someone who's a tough guy to get around, or someone with great positional sense as well to just block off the passing lanes. And as we said, but it's friendlies, it means nothing. But we'll work it out. I'm sure this week Finner will know what needs to be improved upon. Hopefully the penalty kill, because that was murder last night. But things to work on, and that's all you need coming out of these games. Just an idea of where you are in the training.
Obviously, we've kind of touched a wee bit on last night where the Clan lost the Intu Cup. See, the thing for me is, everybody was asking me, is this an aggregate score or is it a one-off? And I really didn't know. I don't know if I missed some of the press releases, but to have some of the fans sitting wondering what the actual format is for winning this cup. Not that I really care too much about it, but apparently there was a standalone one-off, so Belfast won it.
It was a standalone one. I mean, it must have said it at some point, because I was fairly clear on it for a while, and they may, and I might be wrong here, but they may even have explained it at the start during one of the opening announcements. So, in fairness, it's just one of these things that really should be publicised a bit better in terms of how it works, because people beside me thought it was an aggregate thing, so there was a lot of confusion.
Anyway, we lost 5-3. Ausberg got 2 goals, 1 a shorty. All our goals come in the second, and Matt Keith as well. I have to say, I mean, Ausberg was shining out like a big bright star. He knows how to score, doesn't he, Jennifer?
Yeah, I was really impressed with him last night. It was one person I did notice and was actually able to follow most of the game. No, he was really good. He was quite quick as well, which is really quite good. And I don't know if there was a couple of moments where he had some really, really good stick handling bits as well. So all around, very impressed with him.
Yep. Stephen, who was sticking out for you last night?
There was a few players I thought were good. I thought Carlson, minus his dumb delay a game penalty at the beginning of the third, had a good game. He looks like a good player, despite all the negative PR that we had surrounding his signing from the club, of all people. And Blessa, I thought Asberg looked good. Scott Pitt looked really good last night as well. He was even throwing in a couple of hits, which, it's not really his style of game, but he wasn't too afraid to get stuck in at least. And I thought, I can't say anyone really had a terrible game. There was some players who looked a bit maybe off the pace as yet, but I didn't think anyone was particularly bad.
Yeah, you're right about Scott Pitt. He started putting in some heavy checks. I thought, when did he develop this part of his game? Scott Pitt was pretty impressive last night, certainly all out for the cause. Matt Keith was just like Matt Keith's always been. And yet, you're not really wanting to pick players out at this early stage in the season. Obviously, things catch your eye, Graham. People were talking about Hendricks in slightly negative terms. Generally speaking, nobody, you don't know what they've been instructed to do. They're trying things. It's a bit unfair to sort of label somebody who's had a bad couple of games, and it's early season. That's what these games are for, isn't it?
So obviously, Finner's going to be trying to see what lines are probably going to be the best combinations. And there's a lot to look in and all of that. And of course, with the lines that he was running over the last couple of days, it threw my projections right out the window, but that was always going to happen. But in terms of standouts, obviously Asberg from last night, yes. Funny as well, because he was one of the first signings